Hey crafty friends, thank you very much for joining me. This is Einat Kessler with Saturday Extravaganza, and today we are doing the pages of our amazing faux leather toilet paper roll mini album that we created last week, and this is the cover. And we're gonna start by creating our interactive mechanisms, our pockets, our flaps, and things like that. Now, the thing about the tags and the pockets and the things that we're going to insert in the pockets is that, like I said in the previous video, is that toilet paper roll sizes change. So it's really hard for me to give you measurements. You would have to measure, and I will tell you exactly how, and then you would have to adapt your measurements to whatever size you're using. So the first thing we're going to do is take an 8.5 by 11 page, black cardstock page, and create score lines for 6 triangles. That means you would need one score line in the middle, and then you're going to flip your paper and do 2 more score lines, 1/3 and 2/3. So that would give you 6 squares. Now the thing is that the measurement of 1 square should be the measurement of the inner cover, minus maybe 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, depends how much margin you want to leave. So did that make sense? So anyway, you cut the black cardstock like I showed you here in the video and fold it like so. So 1 in, 2 in, the center one we're gonna create a pocket. So you bring out your score tape, and then we're gonna create the pocket. Just gonna punch with a little 3/4 of a punch, 3/4 of an inch, a circle punch, and then when they have another flap. So the way to create this is measure your inner cover and then reduce about 1/2 inch and multiply that by 2 and then by 3. So that will give you the size of page that you need. And then you just need to cover all the flaps with some paper. And I'm using Tim Holtz paper. So basically, again, I just want to make sure it's clear. You take your 8.5 by 11 paper, you measure your inner cover, and then reduce it by 1/2 inch. That will, let's say, give you 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. Okay, so then you would need 6 squares that measure 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. That's the measurements I have, and then you would know what size of paper you need. So then you just glue down your mini book into the inner part of your cover. See, I have the margins on each side. It's not covering it completely, and then it's opening to the top. And then I have this little clasp there to hold it so it won't open. So now we're gonna go on and create our second page. Now this is a really tricky one, so you have to bear with me. So you just take your craft knife and cut a little bit, make a cut on the top part of your toilet paper roll. And then I like to enlarge that with my scissors, and then you cut a triangle, cut it away. And what we're going to use basically is a corset. This is what we're going to create. So you go in with your crocodile and create little holes. That's kind of tricky because that's small, but completely doable. And then after your holes are ready, you just insert eyelets, and then you thread your twine or whatever kind of thread that you want to use. I'm using, what am I using? This is a cord of some sort. So you basically thread it through all the eyelets, and that will give you a look of a corset. Remember, the theme here is steampunk, so steampunk is from the Victorian era, and they used to wear lots of corsets back then, so it's very in tune with our theme of the mini album. And then once you're finished, just make a, tie it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strengthen the wall of the toilet roll paper because we cut it. So now it's a little bit more vulnerable. So I'm gonna insert this little black strip into behind the threads, and then I'm going to fold it to the other side and glue it down. So that's strengthening our toilet paper plus creating a nice background for our corset. So once you tie that up, and then what we're gonna do is just create the main things of the pages and then come back and embellish them. So you see we have a pocket, and you can see into the pocket through the lacing of the corset. So for the tags, again, it depends on your toilet paper roll measurements. My tags were 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. So that's the size of all my tags. Basically, you just need to measure, put your ruler in the pocket and measure the length and the width. And for each pocket, I added, a little clock or a little cogwheel or a little sticker with some ink on the edges just to make it nicer and to embellish it more. So for the other side of that page, we are going to create a steampunk sort of a woman. So I have these papers here by Spellbinders, and they have this page with all kinds of faces. So there was this face of a woman that I'm gonna cut out. Sorry, it's a little bit off camera. Okay, now we're fine. So you cut out, what you need is basically that wooden piece there. I just cut off the leg because I don't need that. I'm just gonna add a little bit of color with my distress ink, and I'm gonna use a red one too. It's actually an orange. And I'm gonna go for some wings. I'm using Tim Holtz grunge board, embellishments and letters there. So gonna take my wings and gonna treat them as well. So we have the face, we have the body, and now we have the wings. Again, a little bit of distress ink. It's a photo vintage distress ink, and the same orange in the middle. See, this is how it's gonna go, and I'm just gonna emboss it a little bit to give it a little bit of texture and a little bit of shine. And I'm gonna use an embossing marker because I don't want to emboss the entire wing, just a little tiny bit on the outside, so it will look really pretty and shiny. So So now let's assemble our woman. I've actually didn't use any kind of writing, letters, stickers, sentences, whatever on this mini album. Just embellishments and, you know, pockets, tags, and so on. So, but you can add them if you want to, by all means. Again, don't be alarmed or scared by all the amount of the white glue. It glues down everything really strong and it dries clear later, so don't worry about that. So for her belt, I'm adding small cogwheels. For my stash. And this is our woman. And this is our tag that we created before. I'm just going to ink the edges just a little tiny bit. And this tag and this pocket and this page is ready. So we are all set to go ahead and do our next page. Just put that pocket away. Okay, so now our next page. I'm going to punch out a hole in the front and the back of the page. So basically we're going to have a small window in our page here, and we're going to see something through that window. This is going to be our window frame. This is a really weird cogwheel that I found. It's a metal cogwheel that I found somewhere. I don't even know where, but I like how it looks. So put too much glue, but don't worry. So this is again the woman that we're gonna see through. I have two faces here. I'm just gonna pick which one I'm gonna use. So I've decided on this one. So I'm gluing it down on our next page so we can see her through our window. And now we're gonna create a little bit of a, it's not exactly a pocket, but it's like a holder to put the, you know, whatever you want under it, and it will hold it so it won't move. But it's not closed, so it's not exactly a pocket. So I'm building sort of a small border here from some cogwheels. And I'm just laying them in a row on top of the other, overlapping slightly. And you have to wait at this point, you have to wait until it's dry, otherwise it would not work. And then I'm using foam tape just to raise it a little tiny bit above the surface of my page. And this is gonna go, see? And this is gonna go with the same level as my metal cogwheel. So now it's straight. And you can insert something underneath it, which is this tiny little book that basically is folded in 3 and has a brad on it, and the brad is not completely pressed against the paper. It's a little, it sticks out a little bit so we can create the closure. So this is a small brad and a chain by Tim Holtz, and we're going to insert the brad into the cogwheel like we did with our closure for the mini album, if you remember. And then we're going to flatten the legs. So you see, now we've attached the chain with the brad to the cogwheel, and this is going to go on the brad like this, and the mini album is going to go in there, and I'm going to glue down the cogwheel on that side. So you have two things holding your folded tag with the chain. So this is the page is ready. And the other side, I've got a cogwheel here as a frame to the window on the other side of the page. And this is a Meyer Rhodes plastic clock with the hand, and I've attached it only in the bottom part so you can stick a tag in there, and it's like a holder or a half pocket as well. Now we're gonna create that thing that is we're gonna tuck under the clock. So this is basically a square. I have no idea what it measures, and I'm gonna create the window now. Sorry, not that little booklet. So this is going to be a window for our next page. So it has a Gothic pattern to it. Namely, this is how Gothic windows used to look back in the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the window now out of this shape. So I'm cutting all sides except the one on the left, and this would give me the window that can be opened and closed. So I'm just a little bit of a fold line there, so it will be easier to create the fold when I open the window. See how easy was that? Now if you want, you can do it square, you can do it with an arch, whatever shape you want. So this is going to be our window, and again we're going to open it and see something underneath, another face of a woman, and I'm just cutting it to the same size as my window frame, as the window frame, not as the window itself, because it has to glue down like so on the frame, so when you open the window you will have your image. Gonna add a cogwheel here, and I'm gonna do some more wings because I really like the wings effect, and I'm embossing it just slightly. And now we're gonna assemble. We're gonna add some cogwheels on the wings. We're gonna layer them all down one by one. I'm using tweezers, it helps me with all the small shapes. And this is a moon that I cut out from the same papers. They're media mixage spellbinders papers. So this is our next page. This is how it turned out with the window and the wings and all the cogwheels and the little moon there and the face of the woman. So going on to our next page, I'm going to do the tag first, and I'm just inking. This is Tim Holtz mask, so I'm just inking a little bit, and these are the circles that we punched out doing our window, so they're going to be the handle. Now we're going to create our tag to tuck under the clock. So basically what you're going to do is cut a strip of paper and fold it in 3. Doesn't have to be equal, don't have to be equal parts. So we have this, and we have our tag. So I'm just cutting. This is metal, but Tim Holtz scissors are so good, so it's thin enough to cut with the scissors. So what I'm going to do is attach the circle in 2 halves so I can open it later, and then I'm going to attach 2 brads, one to the upper half circle and the second one to the bottom half circle, and I'm going to leave the brads sticking out a little bit. I'm not going to press them against the paper all the way, and I'm going to cover the other side so the legs won't show. So basically what we created is a closure. See? And now we can add a string and wrap it around our 2 brads in an 8 shape. And now we can tuck it under our clock, and it holds it down so it won't fall. Okay, so now our butterfly. Now this requires some patience, a lot of work, but believe me, it's worth it. So basically, I've destroyed 3 Tim Holtz 12 by 12 papers because I cut 3 of the same butterflies. So I had to use the same butterfly on each paper and cut it out. So I've just ruined 3 papers for 1 butterfly, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do now is cut out the wings, leaving about 1/8 of an inch frame around each wing. And I'm going to do that for 2 of the butterflies and leave 1 butterfly whole. So what I did, I just glued down with some tape. I glued down the butterfly so I can cut it easily, and the butterfly below is going to be the exact same cut. So this is how they look after they're cut. And what I did is put some 3D foam tape on the borders of the butterfly, and I'm going to glue it down on the whole butterfly. So what we're going to do basically is create a 3D shape, because those 2 frames of a butterfly that we cut are going to go one on top of the other. So you just need very narrow pieces of 3D foam tape and then place them around the frame and glue down the frames one to the other. See? And now you have a 3D sticker. Well, not a sticker, a shape of a butterfly. So now we're going to fill the wings with cogwheels, and since we have 2 layers of wings that are separated with 3D foam tape, they're quite high, so we can layer our cogwheels high as well in layers. See? So you just add more and more cogwheels, different size, different colors, and layer them one on top of the other, and tuck them under the frame, and then you'll have a steampunk butterfly. Isn't that cool? This is really cool, you guys. This is how it looks. See? Isn't that amazing? And we created it by ourselves. It takes patience, but it's actually easy. So we're going to leave that aside to dry now, and we're going to create our belt for another page. It doesn't matter what you do on which page. So what you need basically is 3/4 of an inch of strip by 12 inches, and we're gonna create 2 fold lines at the 1/4 of an inch and then at 2/4 of an inch. So, and then we are going to fold them to create a belt. So we're gonna fold them inside, towards the inside, so we have nice edges, and we'll be left with 1/4 of an inch of a belt. Some tape there. So this is our belt, and it's also nice and strong because it's basically 3 layers of paper. So we are going to wrap it around one of our pages, like so. You can do it with fabric if you have it. And then we're going to attach our buckle. It's a Tim Holtz buckle. We're going to attach it with a brad that comes in the box with the buckle. And then we're going to close our belt and mark where the hole should be and create the hole with our crocodile. and then we'll be able to close our belt and tuck a tag under it. So I really like this one, and what I did is put it under, closed it with the brad so it won't be able to open after I close the belt. So again, I'm gonna create this the tag that's gonna go in there, and basically I've measured the width of the space that can fit under the belt, and I'm creating a folded mini book now. So I'm just folding it in an accordion way, one in, one out. I'm just gonna cut that last flap there, and I'm just gonna embellish it a little bit and create another holder. So just put a little bit of glue on the bottom part and add a cogwheel, and we're gonna insert little tags on the front there, and you can just add embellishments to the inside. Again, cogwheels and scraps of paper and another plastic watch. This is Maya Road, I think I've told you already. So I'm gonna glue that down. And this is the excess flap that we don't need. So this is our mini book. We're gonna leave it to dry, and it's gonna go under the belt. And for the other side of the belt, let's glue down our butterfly first, and then we'll deal with the other side. I love this butterfly. This is like the masterpiece of this mini album. It's amazing. You should definitely try it. So for the pocket of this page, of the belt page, we are going to create tags in the shape of an arrow. So basically what I did, don't worry, I have no idea how to draw an arrow. I just printed out of the computer. They have automatic shapes there, and if you don't, you can download it from wherever you know, Google it, and you'll find lots of arrows. So I cut it from white paper and use that as a template. So now I have 2 arrows, and I'm gonna create, just gonna punch a little hole with my crocodile, and I'm gonna insert a little mini brad there. First we're gonna add eyelets to both of them, and then the mini brad, or it's a brad, I don't know if it's mini. And now they can turn. So you have a really cool turning tag that you can now embellish with clock parts and cogwheels and whatever you want. So this is gonna dry, and then we're gonna insert it into our pocket. So this is our book here, and it's ready basically, and I'm just gonna insert this little watch that I'm gonna cover with some paper on the other side, so you can journal on it or do whatever you want. And this is gonna go under the belt. Now for another tag that we're gonna make for the other side of the belt. Again, you have to measure the space that is under the belt, what can go in there, and just I'm gonna fold it, a folded tag that opens like that. And again, I'm gonna create a little half a pocket from these numbers that I'm gonna attach together in a row, slightly overlapping. And then we can tuck 2 little tags. We can tuck 2 little tags under it. You just, after this is dry, you just I've added 2 little cogwheels, and now we're gonna set it to dry. And these are dry already, our arrows, so we can put them in our pocket. So now for our folded tag, you just need to put a little bit of glue on all 3 sides, not in the middle, not on the top part, because then it won't be a pocket. So these are tags that I got at Michael's for $1. So these ones also I got at Michael's, but I don't remember for how much. So they're a bit big. I'm just gonna cut them, and these are our tags in a little pocket, and this will go under the belt like so. Now for our last page, I'm gonna take 3 tags and attach them together with a ring, and then I'm going to take a chain and attach the chain to the ring, and the tags are going to go in the pocket. Now the ring is going to be attached to this clock. This is actually a toy that I got, I don't even remember where, but I'm just going to attach my chain to that watch. But first I'm going to create a pocket for the watch, like they used to have for men in their vests under the jacket. You know, they used to go out with a pocket watch. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't fall. So I put the foam tape on the right distance, so it will hold the clock but won't let it fall. So just adding a few more embellishments around the clock. Now the chain is going to be attached to the clock with another ring. This is the other side of the chain, and we're going to close it, and now you have tags on one side and a watch on the other side with a chain. Okay, so let's see what we did. First of all, the mini album is really chunky, so I had to change the closure, but I'll show you that later. First, let's finish this. We still have the page of the woman there, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build her a house. So what we're gonna do is create a hole for her face in a piece of cardstock, and this is gonna be her house, but it's gonna be a steampunk house. So it's gonna have a weird shape. I'm gonna cut it like so, and I'm gonna cut a roof, and I'm gonna paint it with some gold paint. This is gold, and some green, and I'm gonna use the Prima stencils of the bricks and create bricks on my house there. I'm gonna use even a little bit of black stays on. So this is the house, this is the base of the house, and I'm gonna draw some windows. And again with the wings. What is it with the wings with me today? A little bit of alcohol ink, and now I'm going to attach the roof to my house, attach the wings and a cogwheel there, and I'm going to attach the house to the little lady in the window. Now these are my metal pipes that I created from just regular office, what you call them, those things that you need to, if you want to hold a few papers together. just your regular office ones. And I'm gonna add lots and lots and lots of cogwheels to it. I'm just gonna go clips, that's what you call them, clips. So I've just opened them and created the pipes. So what I did with the closure, I've enlarged, I've added another piece of a chain because it was too chunky and the chain was too short, and I've attached it to the top with another brad and cogwheel like we did in the beginning. See? And now it comes from the top, and I've created a closure with a cogwheel here and a brad that sticks out, and then the chain is long enough to reach it, and this is the closure now, and you have those things hanging there. So let's see what we have, what we can add. So I'm just gonna go over the entire mini album and see if I can add little stuff. This is a washi tape and some stickers. And for the corset page, I'm gonna add a heart and some more cogwheels and clock parts and stuff like that. I always like to go over the mini album again and see what more embellishments I can add to it. Okay, so this is our finished mini album. I'm gonna go over it and see everything that we've done. So this is the cover that you've already seen, and the new closure with all the cogwheels that I've changed, with the brad that sticks out and all the things that hang from the chain that I've added. And now let's open it. And this is the first inner page, and you have here the clasp with all the things that hang. And this is the folded mini book with the pocket and the tag and all the flaps that open. That you can journal, you can have photos in there, whatever you want. And on the back as well. And our next page is the corset page. It's my favorite. Well, one of my favorites. And remember, we did holes on the sides with eyelets, and then tie them with a cord or a string, and you have 2 tags in there. The other side has the steampunk woman with a cogwheel belt and the wings, and I've added a little heart as well. And she even has a cogwheel on her eye. And this is the window that we have with our woman, and the closure for our flap tag there that opens 3 ways, and our cogwheel pocket that we created. And through the window you can see the woman. On the other side you have your clock pocket with our tag there that opens up like this. And then you have our woman in her house with all the pipes and the cogwheels and the wings on the roof, and she stands in the window. And inside we have a tag as well. You can't put a tag where the window is because it's going to block the window. And this is another Gothic window with the woman inside that I've embellished with the moon and the wings. And I've added a number in the front. And this is our small pocket with our watch with our clock parts, and it folds and it opens up like so. And this is our belt pocket or holder, and this goes under the belt. I moved it to the right. It was easier to close that way. And inside we have our arrows tags that turn. And on the other side, oops, the tag fell. And on the other side we have our folded big tag that has a pocket in the front with our 2 tags. I thought something else fell, but no. And then we have our beautiful butterfly page. The butterfly just has all those cogwheels in its wings, and it's really pretty and shiny. And our last page is our clock that needs to be taken out in order to take out the tags that are in the pocket. And of course you can add something on your inner cover there as well. So this is our amazing steampunk toilet paper roll mini album. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you all next week. Bye, you guys.